What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we are diving back into F90 Fastest Formula. Last time, the Fastest Formula team took out the GUNDAM fleet led by Trovaldio. Def went into a coma. They have to take on the Legacy fleet without their star pilot. We also learned about the Trimurti. This time, we see a giant mobile armor in action. Dur goes up against Cypher, and we learn of Dur's past, finally. So let's get into this. Things are getting hot at Trimurti. They want to get Houtsity out of there, but he is going to stay. He reflects on the 110 years of Universal Century and space expansion. It has remained stale, and even Xeon's cause is tainted in blood. He recognizes humanity will self-destruct. Houtsity believes they could lead them into a new age of Universal Century. While in a coma, Dur can sense everyone on the battlefield. He could even sense Matrika. He wakes up. A giant mobile armor in the distance fires. It is the RF Gromlin 2. The OMA 05 2RFN RF Gromlin 2 is an improved version of the Gromlin that is 200 meters in length. The bridge doubles as an escape pod. It also has an eye field generator on both sides of the mobile armor. This is the size of a battleship despite being classified as a mobile armor. Weapons include a hyper mega particle cannon, a scattering beam cannon, a beam deflection cannon, 120mm anti-aircraft guns, a rail cannon, and micro-missiles, instead of the attack pod like the Gromlin. This has the chilled bits, which equip a drum funnel, tentacle bits, and a large beam saber. This also has a biocomputer. On the other side of the Trimurti, Gideon is fighting Cypher, who teases him for being out of his league. Cypher proceeds to tear his F89 apart. The Fastest Formula breaks through the defensive line. The Ajax is informed of the Gromlin. They are in awe of the mobile suit's size. Everyone has their hands tied. That is when Dur comes to the bridge. He is ready to go out. Kanata is currently in the PV type. The captain thinks he probably shouldn't go out in his condition, but it's not like they have any other option. Hellpayton comes to the bridge and tells him that there is a unit he could use. He shows Dur the FF type. This is the combination of the N, G, V, and W type mission packs. It is the culmination of Help's work on the F90 over the years, while Help is telling Dur everything. The kid laughs and tells the old man he really does love the F90. This is exactly what Berg will say to Help in the future. But for Help, it isn't about the Gundam. It was always ensuring that he and his mother were happy. Dur informs his teammates that he is rejoining the front line. He's going to help buy some time and pick off their fleet. Kanata will focus on the Gromlin. The Legacy fleet notices that they have another pilot up their sleeve, so they launch their Tigresses. Dur doesn't have time to deal with each Tigress individually. He thinks back to Help telling him about using the Minovsky drive in short bursts, so he doesn't accidentally fly out into space like last time. The AI will help him. He is still using the KB AI. He just speeds past the Tigress mobile suits and begins taking out the fleet ships, which I believe are Guadans and Indras. Dur is using a multiple beam weapon from the G-type for the captain of one of these Legacy ships. It reminds him of the infamous White Devil. A part of the Trimurti Defense Force is Charles Rochester. Dur comes to back them up. Kanata is still fighting the Gromlin. Dur is attacked by homing missiles. It is Cypher. The Gundam attacks the Drake. We flash back to UC-0099 on the eve of Xeon finally relinquishing its power as stated in the Granada Treaty. Experimentation took place. It was a joint operation between the Rona family, the Jupiter fleet, and the Public Colony Corporation. Waiting for natural selection to naturally make new types will take forever, so they are putting it in their own hands. They selected new type women with already gifted abilities, and then artificially inseminated them with genes that will produce new types. Wouldn't this still be just a cyber new type, just at the fertilization stage? Children born of this process were named after the father of Universal Century, Yuri Minovsky. Not only named, but the genetic basis for the project. In the present, Yuri explains that they are both Yuri Minovsky and that they come from the first batch. They are brothers, so to speak. He thinks that he has killed Gideon. Dur tries to zip off using the Minovsky drive, but it isn't working properly. He says that the Yuri Minovsky project was interrupted by an accident. However, they still must carry out the ideals of the project. Dur is gravely offended as he thinks back to everyone who died in the past. He says how dare he think of these people's lives as ideals. He goes in to attack with a multiple beam weapon. He believes that war breeds new types, and he wants to eliminate both the Federation and Xeon. He is merely using Houtsity and Rain Dragoon for his ultimate needs. He says that he should join him and Angelica Patsy, his mother. Dur begins losing it at his mother's name. The Ajax captain wonders if it is a psycho hack. Unlike Yuri, he is the true Minovsky, as Dur had a loving mother. Mizma heads out to help with Cypher. He reminds Dur that he is here for Metrica. He tries to buy him time. The Gromlin's funnels take down Mizma in the heavy gun. That is when Dur hears a voice on the comms. It is Gideon in his half-destroyed F-89. The Trimurti prepares its VSBR. They probably have less than 60 seconds before it fires. The captain is out of ideas, but Gideon says they have one. Gideon begins fighting Cypher. He buys some time. They head towards the Trimurti. Rain Dragoon is mad that Cypher is failing. The two rush in and fire on the mobile armor, taking out the starboard side. Now's the time. The fastest formula must break through their defensive line. Mizma survived the attack from earlier, but his mobile suit is out of the battle. Dur goes to Gideon's cockpit, and he isn't looking good. He gives him the gift he wanted to give Dur. It is a holodisc. His DNA opens it, revealing Patsy. After she was orphaned due to Char's rebellion, she was taken to a research facility where he was born. 4 years later, terrorists attacked the facility. She fled with Dur and stumbled onto a terrorist that took the Manhunter's looks. He doesn't want to kill a child, so he looks the other way. She bought the name Angelica and became a test pilot. The rest is history. Meanwhile, on a ship nearby happens to be Patsy. She is alive and greatly scarred. Gideon mentions that he wanted to be a father to him, but he failed at that and being a test pilot. His hero has always been Amado Ray, but he says that Dur is his hero. He is the ace pilot he always wanted to be. Throughout this manga, Dur refused to believe he is an ace. Until this moment, Gideon slowly passes away. He cries out for a surrogate dad. The ace pilot meets up with Mizma. The N-type mission pack is shot and he won't be able to control it. Mizma suggests that he pilot the N-type while Dur takes control of the other mission packs. He also knows information regarding the Manovsky project. He shows that Hatsuri Rona is also a Yuri Manovsky baby. Then what's up with the age difference? Never mind, I'll ignore it. He doesn't care of his past anymore. Dur is now guided by his mom and dad. He is no longer lost. Mizma and Dur head out in the F90. Cypher is taking care of the defense force when F90 comes in and attacks. The biocomputer is back online. It was the Gromlin that was doing the biohacking. They're going to try to retake the Trimurti. Rain Dragoon wants to remake Side 3 in line with the treaty that Haman Khan signed during the First Neo-Zeon War. Oh buddy, Side 3 has moved on since then. This is a losing battle. Poor bastard. Kanata sees that Dur is back on the battlefield, and it gives them a second wind. She continues fighting the Gromlin. The Dreg and Gundam clash. Dur uses the Manovsky drive twice in a row and slices off the Dreg's left leg. Cypher doesn't understand why he doesn't want to join him as his brother. It has been 20 years since Laplace's box has been opened, and people still aren't learning from the past. Earth is opening up immigration once again, as seen in Hathaway. But the colonies are also expanding. The frontier colonies will soon bring in more people, with an estimated 20 billion more on the horizon. Both Spacenoids and Earthnoids are cannibalizing themselves and setting up for a future of fighting wars over resources. Dur doesn't like Cypher's superiority. Creating chaos while getting Zeon Remnant groups to kill each other isn't the path forward for him. That is when Mizma interjects. He says that he has been doing some digging. Cypher has his hands in EGUM, Jupiter, SNRI, and Legacy. But his true allegiances lie with Burnham Wood. This is the secret group that does the dark bidding of Scharnhorst Rona, and the Rona family in general. If you follow our coverage of Twilight Access, teams like the Mastema team work under Burnham and the Rona family. Cypher tells Mizma to shut his drug-addled mouth. It's not the best shit-talking, but it is a solid diss to a Cyber new type. I'll give him that. He fires missiles at the back of the Gundam where Mizma and the N-type mission pack are located. It didn't hit his cockpit. He says that new types are destined to rule this world. We flash back to Help once again explaining the Dreg to Dur. He says that it is nothing more than a dragon and man slays dragons. He tells him to have confidence in the Gundam. Dur and Mizma coordinate an attack. They work together to dodge funnel attacks. The two mobile suits resort to beam sabers. Hatsuri is watching the battle and he realizes that Cypher was unable to bring Dur to Rona's side. Bosch Weller comes in and tells him that there is an opportunity to flee, but Hatsuri isn't going anywhere. This is where things get interesting. And that will do it for this episode. We get to see Cyber new type experimentation at the embryonic level, making this the closest to a coordinator in Universal Century. Knowing his past doesn't change Dur's convictions, especially after the loss of Gideon. Next time, we will conclude Mobile Suit Gundam F90 Fastest Formula. The Battle of Trimurti will conclude. Dur will confront Hatsuri Rona, and we will see how all this connects back to Berg and UC-123. But that will do it for now, new types. I leave you with this question. Is there any difference between a cyber new type and a new type if it produces the same outcome? Peace.